Hi, it's Gwyneth here on a fabulous Feel Good Friday, helping you, doing my best to help you feel even more fabulous about being you. And I want to ask you this question today. When was the last time you took a risk in your career, or a calculated risk, or a non calculated risk? When was the last time you felt some inspiration? Maybe you had gut instinct about something or a hunch. And in the second that you thought about it, you're like, yeah, why not? And then a second later, you're like, nah, not going to do that, because it causes you, then you have to think about moving out of your comfort zone. Well, when I talk about career related risk, when people hear that word risk, I can just feel them kind of tightening up, thinking, what are you talking about? Risk. I want things to stay the same. You want to stay in your comfort zone. And risk doesn't have to be huge, though. I'm not talking about moving continents. I'm not talking about even moving country if you're not sure if that's what you want to do just because you're following a hunch. I'm talking about taking calculated risk. I'm talking about you recognizing that sometimes you have to step away out of that comfort zone. You have to look potentially at innovation. What happens if you don't? Well, stagnation, irritation, frustration. As a human being, you need to grow. The majority of us enjoy learning. And if you just stay where you are, same old, looking at the annual salary review or whatever it is, if you're an employee and you never move out, then at some point, like I said, you're going to start feeling very irritated, very frustrated. You might be telling yourself, it's okay, I need to keep things safe, I need to stay secure, I like having my regular income. But over time, if you are repressing that potential, that inner innovation, inspiration, and all of those things that would cause you to move out of your comfort zone, in the long term, you're actually going to be damaging your health. You cannot keep on repressing the part of you, this inner fabulousness, this soul, this part of you that is connected to source, whatever it is you want to call it. If you keep holding that back because you keep telling yourself, need to keep working harder so that I do get that annual salary increase, well, at some point you're just going to fall over. We know that by the time somebody gets to burnout, that it's probably way too late. You really do need to learn to listen to yourself, to listen to that inner inspiration, to listen to what your heart is potentially telling you. What does your passion feel like? What would you love to do? And then you can look at the risk from a calculated perspective. When you take risk, calculated risk, there are going to be several benefits, and I've written a few of them down. Firstly, when you foster growth, when you are taking ownership for your professional growth, you just feel good about yourself. That it's so much more empowering to know that you are in charge of what you want to do, that you are taking ownership, that you're not waiting for somebody else to notice you. Now, some people I know, they think like myself and others I've met, when you've been employed for a long time, and you think, I just love to go and be my own boss and do what I really love to do. But first of all, I've got to get some money, and then I've got to do this, and the competition's too much. Well, again, that's not risk. That's moving completely away from risk, and you will never make the move because the time will never ever be right. Once you start taking action towards that new thing with a calculated risk, then you will find that you feel more confident, and that also will help to push you forward. Secondly, if you are employed and you are looking at your calculated risks, if you're not going to take this step-by-step approach to your career, you will potentially gain the attention of employers. Now, some employers, some hiring managers, They appreciate somebody who's willing to take a bit of risk. They appreciate somebody who's a little bit more of innovative, who's willing to just kind of give it a go. Because if you're willing to give it a go, then potentially there's going to be a hiring manager or an employer who appreciates that kind of approach, and they're going to give you an opportunity to give it a go. Valuable learning experiences. Again, you're not the same person you were yesterday. You're not the same person you were last week. One of the analogies I give is that, if you've got a favorite book or even a favorite film, and you don't read that book or you don't watch that film for a while, and then you go back and you see something new, or in your book you read something new. It was there before, but you were a different person, and maybe it just didn't mean the same thing to you as when you then read it for a second, a third time, or watch the film for a 50th time. Again, this is about learning. This is about taking ownership, about just putting yourself out there and asking yourself what could be possible, embracing the opportunities. And as I've already mentioned, over time, if you are not just saying, I need to stay safe, I need to stay in my comfort zone, what could I do? Thank you, little Mina. What could I do? You will find that you become more resilient. You will find that you become more confident. You will find that you come up with even more new ideas, which in turn will lead to new opportunities. Now, this last thing in particular, I know is absolutely true, because one of my coaching packages that I have that works with professionals to help them gain some insight or a breakthrough when it comes to career clarity. It's not about finding the perfect job. It's not about, after the 60 days that we work together, you're suddenly going to have all the answers. What it does is to encourage those I work with to look at opportunities differently, ask themselves what they could be doing, because when that happens, new opportunities come up. And there's a client I've just been working with recently who's been also thinking herself, who could I speak to? Who could I network with? And when you start to push yourself out of your self-imposed four walls, you will find, as if by magic, it's not magic, it's just the way the world works, that you do find new opportunities. And when you find those opportunities, you will be more inspired to take risks. And who knows, it might not even be a calculated risk. It might just be a, world, I'm just going to show you what I can do, and I'm just going to go out and do it. So calculated risk. Next time you have a hunch, next time you have an idea, don't think about it too much, because if you think about it too much, you will talk yourself out of doing it. Write it down, take a little bit of action. Is it a bit of research you have to do? Is it somebody you can speak to? Is it an email you have to write? Is it a colleague in the next office? Is it a business mentor that you want to engage with? Whatever it is, Trust what is happening inside of you. Your body will never, ever lie to you. Your body is trying very hard to give you your truth on a daily basis. So think about it by all means. But ideally, as soon as you get that idea, as soon as you get that bit of inspiration, take action on it. Don't look upon it as risk. Look upon it potentially as calculated risk. Take a small step, see where it takes you. I promise you, if you keep taking those little risky steps, at some point you'll look back and ask yourself why you didn't do it a lot earlier. So there we are, calculated risk. Until we meet again, stay safe, stay healthy, stay fabulous, and have a fabulous Feel Good Friday. Lots of love, and bye for now.